All right, Marco Palmera, founder of Ulysses in Dubai. In this video, we're going to discuss pros and cons of buying a small business through an online platform. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, my ideas, my perspective, and also some of the feedback I collected after interacting with some of these platforms. Now, when I talk about platforms, I mean either brokerage sites or these types of advisors, intermediaries who have listings and businesses available for you to buy. Now, let's start with some of the pros that you might wish to consider when looking at opportunities on these platforms. Well, the first and most obvious is that they have a lot of listings, right? So they kind of like expedite the process of research for you. If you're a first-time buyer, you can just go there. There are a lot of opportunities available, filter them down based on your own criteria and find out the few that actually match your appetite, and then you can run with them. So that is a good plus because you have tons of opportunities that are accessible to you. Now, in addition to that, if the platform is doing a good job, these targets, these businesses that are available for sale are going to be pre-vetted, which means that their team will have some sort of work done on the target before it gets listed. And that means that the figures are going to be accurate, plus or minus 10%, let's say. And that's going to give you an extra level of reassurance. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to do any due diligence on the target. What I'm saying is that you're going to have an extra level of security represented by the other side having done some sort of due diligence on the deal before it is actually posted online. Of course, that all comes down to how reliable the party is. If they really are reliable and you check that, then you can assume the targets are going to be fairly good and fairly accurate at least, because some of them might not necessarily be good. Now, if the platform is providing additional service, you might benefit from the fact that they're going to provide you with advice throughout the process. And that is a very positive thing, especially for first-time buyers, although that kind of leads me to some of the cons, because a lot of the people advising you might have a vested interest in closing those particular deals because they're the ones listed on their platform and they have an interest in getting a deal done. So if they're real professionals, you're not going to struggle with that issue at all because they're just going to advise you based on what is best for you and your own interest. But that might not necessarily be the case all the time, and you got to make sure of that before you actually take the next step. Now, in terms of cons, I think an important thing to mention is that, yes, there are going to be a lot of opportunities listed online, but everybody is going to get access to those. And so the competition for these deals is going to be very, very high. Most likely the deals that are very good are going to sell fairly quickly. And what's going to be left is not going to be the cream, right? The best possible opportunity. Now, can you still find good deals on these platforms? Absolutely. The point is, if you wish to get access to the premium opportunities, then sites and platforms are not really going to be a fit for you. You might want to consider off-market deal flow services like the one that we provide at Ulysses, or source the deals on your own. That, of course, is a lot of work, and that's why we provide a service that facilitates that and does that on behalf of other people. But the point is, off-market deal flow necessitates some kind of work and output done either by you or by somebody on your behalf. If you want to rely on a platform online, of course, you're going to be fighting against everybody else, which is the internet, really. Now, in terms of the opportunities themselves, what I've seen is that these are generally good opportunities, but in terms of due diligence that has been done on the opportunities, you really want to dive deeper into the analysis. Despite the fact a preliminary screening has been done, you still want to be very, very careful when you look at those and make sure everything is making sense before you actually pull the trigger on the deal. I think from that perspective, a good service that some sites provide, and I'm thinking about Empire Flippers, for example, acquire.com, I think also flippa.com does that. It's the escrow service. So once you decide to buy a small business, you can acquire the asset and then look at it for 2-3 weeks, making sure everything they said was right, and your money is going to be held in escrow until you confirm everything checks out. And that is a very good thing because it enables you to control the assets once you've acquired them, and then only release the funds when everything has been controlled. So it's an extra level of due diligence that you can perform after the deal has been bought. And that I've seen being the case only for these types of platforms that are selling online businesses. I haven't seen that being the case for broker sites for brick and mortar facilities, to be frank, but I might be wrong. The point is, due diligence is necessary. In getting back to the point of advisors that are provided by these platforms, yes, a lot of them are going to be very good at what they do. I'm not going to doubt that, but they're going to be very invested in having a deal close, right? Because they're the deals on their platforms and they want to close them because they probably have a fee with the seller as well. So that's going to be a bit tricky for you to handle if you don't have outside advisors that don't have any kind of interest or vetted interest in these particular deals. So my thought on that would be, certainly to have outside advisors that don't have any type of commitment in having a deal done, because what I've seen many times when negotiating transactions in the UAE and Middle East, but worldwide for that matter, is that if there are intermediaries who have a vetted interest in seeing the deal succeed, most of the times they're not going to act with your own best interest at heart. And that's a sad thing to say, but unfortunately it is real, because when a lot of their interest is tied to the success of the business, they're not going to tell you if you need to pull the plug on something, right? If the deal is very close to getting done. And that is just my personal perspective, what I've seen after negotiating many deals for ourselves and behalf of our clients. It's very difficult to be kind of like detached from the transaction where your interests are tied to the success of the deal. So be mindful of that when you work with intermediaries that are part of the platform, because you might stumble across some of these issues. Now, I think that the level of security that some of these platforms provide is actually quite nice, because they give you that extra level, the extra layer of comfort that, everything you're going to buy is going to be pristine, which is good. And I think probably one of the best ones that I've seen doing that is Empire Flippers for online businesses. They have a very good system in place, but of course there are many others that you can check. I will put some links below if you want to go have a look. Generally speaking, I haven't seen brick and mortar businesses sold online having some sort of strong system in place to protect buyers. I've seen that being the case for online businesses a lot more, which is nice. And of course, in that particular case, we're also talking about smaller deals. So it's also easier to protect the interest of the buyer without having some other legal, intervention coming from elsewhere. So in terms of cons, is there any other con that I can think of for having for buying a business that is listed online? Well, of course, the accessibility of the targets that you're gonna have is fairly limited, because it's limited to the capabilities of these people who are sourcing the targets on the platform. On the other hand, if you focus on sourcing your own deal flow, or you hire somebody specifically for sourcing deals on your behalf, that is going to provide you tremendous results. And all the results that you're going to get are going to be specifically catered towards your needs. So you're not going to have to go on a platform where a lot of listings are not in the industry you're interested in, not the size that you're looking for, and so on and so forth. Just going to hire somebody who knows exactly what you need and is going to provide you only with opportunities that match your needs. That's going to save you tons of time and tons of research, which is also very good. And in addition to that, it's going to provide you with opportunities that are most likely off market. So much more competitive, much more profitable, and more suited to your needs. Now, of course, I believe these online platforms have some value to deliver, because some listings are actually very good. And if they manage to sign exclusivity with the deal, which I think most of them have, then these listings can be very good options, because they might be available only through them, and a lot of the work might already be done. So I do see the value in that, and I've used them personally. I have some relationships that I leveraged in the past to access deals through the platforms. Although, again, based on the market we're in, the UAE and Middle East, I had to progressively transition to a deal flow structure that was proprietary, as I mentioned in many other videos, because that enabled us to really create a strategy that was focused on our needs and focused on off-market opportunities. That was really what we were interested in, and what we managed to accomplish for us and for other people that wanted to take advantage of our own deal flow services. So with all that being said, I talked briefly about pros and cons that came to mind really about buying a business through online platforms. If you have additional thoughts on that, make sure you post it in the comments. And other than that, I will see you in the next one.